Okay, so we're going to be going over some more of the advanced features. Let me just give you an outline of what we're going to go through. So mainly it's just we're going to be going over my favorite features. So the things like, editing the search fields and, going over custom city lists and adjusting some of the MLS settings. That is a platinum level feature, but there's a lot of powerful tools you can take advantage of there. And then also going over the polygon search option in addition to using the advanced fields for filtering options. So those are probably some of my favorite things, and I get asked a lot of questions about whether that's possible. We're also going to be going over some of the ways you can optimize your online presence. So there's a number of things you can do to, optimize your SEO rank using our products. I'll give you full disclosure. I'm not much of an SEO expert myself, but I know that we have a lot of tools that you can take advantage of. And there are things like creating your own custom domain for your IDX Broker pages and implementing dynamic SEO tags, and then also including header tags for your pages as well. But yeah, so that's sort of the overall outline, and I'll try to leave a little bit of time at the end for any questions. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get going. All right, so when you're logged into your IDX Broker dashboard, let's start with the way you can edit any of your search fields. So if we go to Designs, and then Pages, and if you wanted to edit the search fields, let's just say, like, I've got my test account pulled up here, and we'll go to the advanced search option. I'll just go to the preferences column and then click edit, and then we'll go to the search setup tab. Now this is a platinum level feature to adjust any of the default parameters of your search pages. So for the platinum level, you can create any number of search pages, and what you can do is, say for example, you wanted it to start off on something other than residential, you can always go to a commercial or lots and land. You can adjust the minimum or maximum price of any of your search pages. You can basically customize this down to whatever you'd like. And what's also really handy is that, for example, if I only wanted people to look for residential properties and I didn't want them to, look for anything else, you can always go up here to this option and then click hide. So what will happen is if I'm somebody coming to this search page and, I can change any of these fields, no problem, but it's only ever going to look for residential properties. That's always going to be, part of the search that people are doing. So with the platinum level account, you can create, I know a lot of people create their own number of, custom search pages that have a lot of these properties hidden from the viewer. So that's a really good way to kind of control traffic and make sure that when people are doing searches, they're taking a look at the properties you want them to be looking at. So that's a good tool you can take advantage of at the platinum level. But at both the platinum and the light level, you do have the option to, restrict any of the advanced fields. So if you're on this page, you could just scroll down here to the bottom, and then you can just click on this link here for the data fields page. So you can get to that page from here, but you can also, let me show you another way you can get to that page. You can go to Designs and then Pages, and then if you wanted to adjust any of the custom search fields for your pages, you can just go over here, and where it says fields, you would just click on that link. So let's say I wanted to change something about the advanced search page. And for, let's say, since I have multiple MLS feeds on my account, this is just my demo account, I would choose the MLS that I want to use. So I'll choose regional MLS and go to residential and then view settings. And yeah, the advanced field section is a really powerful option that we have on IDX Broker. Basically, it's going to pull in any of the fields that we're getting from the MLS feed. And, it's going to show you anything that we've already got set up on the account. If you're not seeing one of the fields showing up, over on the right are the fields that we're getting from the MLS. If you wanted to add it to the search form, you can do so by just clicking the plus icon, and it will add it to that search form. And then you can, move it around, customize it down, anything like that. What you can also do, let's say for one of your advanced search pages, you wanted to only look in a particular area or subdivision. What you can do, and you didn't want to give people the option to change that, you can go here to this icon where it says set default / hidden value. If you click on that, there will be this option that pops up. And then from here, so very similar to how you would do it with the basic fields, you would basically choose which area. Maybe I only wanted people to look in Clark County, Mid-Central. I would select that. And you can select as many of those options as you want from the drop-down menu. And you can choose whether it's the default option, so whatever's already filled out, but you can also hide it as well. So you can select this to hidden and then click apply. And then you'll see that, this is just a hidden value. And so it's always going to be, having Clark County Mid-Central as part of that search criteria. So this is an option that's available for both the Platinum and the Lite level. The difference is with the Lite level, you would only be able to do this for your advanced search page. That's the only option that you have to, apply these fields there. And if you wanted to make sure that you're saving that up, you would just save the property type layout, and then that would be, one of the criteria that's already filled out for that advanced search page. Yeah, so that's a good option I like to show people in case they wanted to, set something up really custom. Let's go back though. So we're going to go over custom city lists in just a little bit here. So, you'll see under the search setup, back where we were before, down here, there's these different list options. So you see that this is, the default cities, counties, and postal codes that are being pulled in, from the MLS. So it's going to pull in everything when we first set up the accounts, but you can always go and then make a custom list. Maybe you're only interested in displaying the properties from like 2 cities or a couple of counties or what have you. You can go up here and in the preferences section, and then click on city, county, postal code lists. So we'll just go and create a new one from the ground up. And so from there, it'll take me to this first option where I would choose the list that I want to make. Let's just say city. From there, we'd move on to the second step. And then this is where we're just choosing the cities that we wanted to be pulled in the search. So, I've got it in a Oregon MLS. So I'm just going to choose Eugene, start filling that out. So you can do it item by item if if you've only got a couple of cities or counties or postal codes to choose from. Let's see, Corvallis. But you get the idea. Mainly if I only wanted to focus on these 2 cities, what I would do is just fill this out and then hit the finalize and continue option. And then from there, it'll take me to the third step. And then you give something to, a name for the list that you've got. So I'll just say Eugene Corvallis, and you would just save the new list. So this green growler will let you know it's been saved on the IDX Broker system. And from there, what you can do is, you can choose right there to apply it to your search pages or just move on and be done with it. So if I go to the apply to search pages option, there'll be this option that displays down below. You can choose to apply it to all of your search pages by checking this box, or, you can choose specific search pages that you wanted that custom city list to apply to. So let's say, I only wanted it for the advanced search page. I would check that box, hit the blue button to save the changes up. And then from there, I can, go to create another list or move on to another option. So you'll see that if we go to the advanced search page, if we go back to preferences and then go to the search setup, you'll see that under list options, there's Eugene and Corvallis that's coming through there. And if I go to the page itself, if I try to, change any of the cities, it will only allow me to put in, Eugene or Corvallis. But if I try to put in something like Salem, it's not going to come back with anything. That's another city that we have here. That's another good option. Custom city lists are a great way to control specifically what areas that people are able to search through. So yeah, that's another good customization tool. And one of the most fun ones. So this next one, the MLS settings, is a Platinum only feature, but it allows you to really customize down what you're allowing people to search for and what's displayed on your IDX Broker account. So if we just go to preferences and then MLS settings, so this will show you MLS feeds we have linked to your account. Right now I've got an Oregon feed and a California feed. If we go to the property types section, this will show you any of the fields that we've got, the property types we're getting from regional multiple listing services, or you can go to California feed and then see what they've got. So this will look different depending on what MLS you're a part of. And what I can do is from this page, let's say I only want people to look for active properties. I don't want them to have the option to see pending properties or anything else. What I can do is, for residential properties, I would go to this expansion here, and then it will open up with any of the sub-property types and the statuses that are able to be searched for within the, using your IDX Broker service. So what I would do is if I don't want there to be pending options, I would just uncheck. And so what this will do is it won't give people, whenever anybody's doing a search for residential properties, they'll only be able to look for active or bumpable buyer. Not exactly sure what that is, but you'd uncheck the boxes and this will just apply immediately. So this is a good way if you only want people to search for active properties using your IDX feed there. And then you can also customize the sub property types, if you're not interested in displaying any of those other ones. So that's a good option that's there. You can also from here set the default minimum or maximum price based on the specific property types. And if you wanted to, you can also just hide certain property types altogether by just unchecking the box in this column here. You know, if I'm only interested in displaying like residential and multifamily properties, not so much in commercial lots and land, I can just uncheck those options. And then those will no longer be searchable, you know, using your IDX Broker account. So yeah, a lot of control over what properties you're allowing people to search for. And you can also just set a default one too. So if I default to residential, it's always going to show up as first there. Yeah, so that's a good option for property types. Let's move on to, you know, you can also change the names of the fields that you're getting from the MLS too. So if we go to core fields, this will show, you know, the basic fields we have, cities, counties, bathrooms and stuff. Let's say, but if I want it on my search pages, so the field name is what we're getting back from the MLS. The IDX display is what we're displaying on your, you know, search pages and all of that stuff. You can also set your own custom display name. So for bathrooms, maybe I wanted to go with something like baths. I can put that in here. And then, you know, if somebody's looking at the bathrooms field, it will display as baths. Same thing as like with beds. So you can get in here and really customize it down to what you want it. So, you know, if you're seeing things in there, maybe you don't want min SQFT, maybe you can spell it all the way out. You know, you get the idea. So you can really customize these fields and get them to what you want. Same goes for the MLS advanced fields. It's just the core fields are going to be the basic stuff. But if there's something specifically within the MLS that you wanted to change, like some of the more advanced fields, you can also do so here. The MLS settings allows you to really get down and make sure you're displaying the information the way you want it to. So yeah, that's a good option that's there. From there, let's move on to using the polygon search option, and in addition to that, the advanced fields. So a lot of people, you know, if you have a platinum level account, using the polygon search is a really good way to make like widgets and save links. And let me show you what we can do. I'm just going to build a new save link from the beginning. So if we go to save links, if we go to create, and then we'll choose the polygon option, we'll move on to the next step here. So right now we've got it over Eugene, Oregon. You know, that's where we're at here in IDX Broker. The polygon search is a really popular one because it allows you to just, maybe if you don't know the specific MLS fields, you can just draw a map. And let's say these country club areas are really popular. I'm just going to draw a shape, and then, you know, anything that's showing up in this polygon shape is what's going to come back in the save link that we're going to create. So this is a really good way to narrow it down. So anything that's coming back in this shape is going to show up. You can also, you have additional filtering options. So maybe, you know, since it's in the Eugene area, I'm going to choose the Oregon MLS, and, you know, I can choose the property types that I want, minimum, maximum price, bedrooms, bathrooms. So this allows you to get a lot of the basics and filter it down that way. But you also have the option down here at the bottom to use the advanced link customization. This is for like if you only wanted to show new construction or something like that, only properties that are labeled as new construction in the MLS data. You know, so these are just for the basic fields up top, but using this option down here, there's the results copy and paste string. So it's kind of, there is a way to do it. And yeah, let me show you how we can get those fields to come through. Because let's say I've already created another save link that's already pulling in those properties. So Lane County, new construction. If I go here, then edit the search criteria. So with any of the IDX Broker search pages, we use this search query to basically pull that information in from the MLS. And what I will do is I will take this part of the search query. So anything that has like this A underscore is the advanced fields. A underscore means it's an advanced field that we're getting back from the MLS. And so what I can do is I can just take that search query, and you can also just do a advanced search using like your advanced search page. And I'll just take that search query and then paste it in to the results copy and paste string. And so what this will do is it's going to look for any properties in this polygon shape, but it's also going to restrict that down to properties in Lane County, Ferry Street area, as well as new construction. So that's a really powerful tool that we have. It does take, you know, a couple of steps in order to get that set up, but it is possible to. So we'll just move on to the next step here. I'll just say IDX test. We'll move on, save and create another link. And so if we go back to that saved link, it should only come back probably with not very many properties. But yeah, so only one result that we've got, and you know, this is new construction. So anything that's, new, and so this is a good way to kind of like predict if, there's a place that's undergoing a lot of construction, new properties are coming up. You can really fine tune that down. But yeah, you can get really specific with using both the polygon search option as well as some of the advanced search fields. So that's a couple of the customization options that we have available. Let's go over some of the ways you can kind of optimize your SEO. So before I get into that though, let me show you a good resource that we have available for that, which is going to be at our support knowledge base here at support.idxbroker.com. And this is a really good article that we have. If you're really interested in optimizing your SEO and getting kind of an overview of everything, if you type in SEO into the search bar, and it's the second article down, it says search engine optimization. So if we go to that article, it will map out all the different things you can do to optimize your SEO rank using IDX Broker. I'm only going to touch on like the main ones for the webinar today, but yeah, there's a full list of all the different things that you can do for that too. If yep, looks like Val's already shared that in the chat, so that'll be available for you if you wanted to check that out later. But the top option here is setting up the custom subdomain. And that's really good for, let me show you where that's at if you wanted to change that up. So if you wanted to go to account and then account info, under subdomain/domain control, this is where we have it set up for your IDX Broker account. So when we first activate them, they're all set to use the default subdomain. So it's, bpearson.idxbroker.com. So IDX Broker is going to be within the subdomain when we set that up. What's really good for optimizing your SEO score is to create a custom domain. So what that will do is it will remove IDX Broker from the URL and then instead use your website address. So it would be something like search.yourwebsite.com. That way, IDX, it's not detracting any of your, SEO rank or traffic away from your website. So the way that you would do that is, it requires a couple of steps on the, if you're using GoDaddy or HostGator, like on the hosting side, you would just have to create a CNAME record. And that way you would do that and point it to our servers at subdomains.idxbroker.com. If you're already on this page, you can also easily go to our knowledge base article on how to get that all set up and everything. But yeah, it just maps it out, creating a CNAME record. And it will also give you steps if you're using GoDaddy or HostGator. Maybe I'm using Bluehost. I can just click on that, and then it will give me more detailed instructions on how to get that set up. I mean, that's a really good way to optimize that, and we definitely recommend people do that when they're first getting everything set up. Custom domains are a good way to do that. Let's go over the way you can customize your dynamic SEO tags for your details pages. So, like if I've done a search and then I've looked at the results of that search, and if I've clicked on a property, that's what we consider a details page. So if we go to designs and pages and then go down to the details pages section, we'll just click on edit page preferences, and then it will take me into the SEO settings tab. Now this is really good because you can control dynamically like what shows up for any of your details pages, since you're coming back with, hundreds, sometimes thousands of properties that are coming from the MLS. Up top here, you can customize the dynamic details URL. So, this is what's going to show up in the URL itself. So right now I have it set up so that it's like, the MLS ID, the listing ID, and then it will display the address of the property, the city name, and the state abbreviation, and the zip code that goes along with it. What you can do, maybe I didn't want it to be the abbreviation, I want it to be the full length name. I can just remove that. And then if I click in the box, I can choose listing ID, state abbreviation. I'll choose state, and then I can drag that. And so what will happen is it will now display as 345 Main Street, Eugene, Oregon, and it spells it all out. If I wanted to have that set up. I've also got it set up for my pages to, you can set the dynamic title text. So, this is the text that's going to display like in the link, like the tab. So in the tab itself, it will have it as IDX property type for sale, and the city name, the state, the listing ID, and then I have it set up as the display name. So whatever you have set up as the display name in your IDX Broker account would display at the very end. Let me just show you an example here. So if we go to this property, for instance, you'll see that in the tab, it says residential for sale in Eugene, Oregon. And then at the very end, it's kind of small. It has like my display name. at the very end of that. And you can also set dynamic meta tags for your remarks fields, and then also meta tags for keyword searches. So this is really good for when Google searches, they look for these meta tags in order to push them up to the top of search results. So you can customize this down, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that know how to optimize that SEO better than I do, but there's a lot of powerful tools that are at your disposal by going to the page preferences section here. So using those SEO tags for your details pages is a really good way to do that. Another good thing, let me show you. So back on this page, at the very top here, we have, I have it set up so that it will display the address and the price in big bold text. Let me show you where you can go to do that, because that requires something to get something set up. So if we go down here, you'll see that it displays it small, and then the price is down there at the bottom. But if we go into the subheaders, that's where I have it set up, where you can set up what are called dynamic header tags, and this is really good for SEO purposes too. If we go to designs, and if we go to subheaders, we'll go to the categories section, and then if we go to details, you'll see that I have this dynamic query that's set up. So right now it's going to display address and the listing price. If I wanted to add something else in there, I can just space it out and then put in these curly brackets. And so if I do that, it will automatically start filling in these fields that I can put in there. So right now we've got address and listing price. Maybe I wanted to put in let's just say like the city and the state at the top there too. So I can do that. Maybe I'll do the state abbreviation. Yeah, so we can set that up. And when you're setting this up, I'd recommend going with the heading 1 option. So having it set to, basically it's just putting an H1 tag for these dynamic URLs. And since it's showing up within your subheader, this will push it to the top of the HTML of any of your pages. So that's a really good way to, that's good for SEO purposes from what I've been told. So if we just go to save changes, and if we refresh this page, it should update along with that. Yep, so there you go. Might need a little bit of styling changes. So yeah, if I wanted to put like a comma in between there, I can also do so this page. So let's just make sure that we've got that set up the right way. Yep, there we go. And then I'll just make sure that there's a space in between there, and we're looking good. But yeah, and so this is a good way to put front and center, like the address, make sure that people are looking at the right property and looking at the property they want to be. Yeah, that's really good. And then, yeah, this is just going to dynamically change based on whatever search that people have done, whatever property they're looking at. So yeah, setting up those subheader tags is a really good way to optimize that. Yeah, so if I just did a search, and then, yeah, so you see that it's changed up. It's dynamically changed based on the property that comes up. Yeah, so that's really good for optimizing that online presence there. So yeah, there's a lot of those favorite features, and we get a lot of questions about that too, using like those dynamic tags and customizing the search tools. So I know that was pretty advanced and everything like that, but in case you haven't checked it out already, I know that Bao's been in the chat and posting like support articles. If you needed to explore any of this going forward, going to our knowledge base at support.idxbroker.com is a really great place to go. It lists out like specifically, so if I wanted to learn more about like MLS settings, I can just type that into the chat here. It'll give me like ways to rename fields or change the default property type. So if you ever needed to explore any of this stuff going forward, going to our knowledge base is going to be the best resource for that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've got for you today. If you'd like, I can go over some things again, or if you have more specific questions, I'll try my best to answer them to the best of my ability. But yeah, did you have any other questions or anything else I can help with? How do you put button links on? Yeah, Bonnie, so the way that you would do that, if I'm understanding the question, so if you wanted to like attach one of our links to a button like on your website or something like that, all you would have to do is make sure that you're using the right link. So in order to make sure that you're linking to the right page, going to designs of the pages, and then just grabbing this URL. This is basically what you want. Yeah, I know for like WordPress and Squarespace, it'll ask you for a URL, but it's basically just taking this link and making sure that it's attached to the button that you wanted to use it for. FHA financing option. Yeah, sorry, Karen, I'm taking a look at your comment there. Okay, yeah, so if you sent that email to our support, we can definitely look into that. I know that sometimes what can happen is some fields that are coming through from the MLS, we just don't have them mapped on our databases yet. So it basically requires we have like one of our data specialists that will reach out to the MLS boards and see what's required to make sure that that's mapped on our side. So yeah, if there's an email case that's already up and running, we'll make sure that we're following up on that and make sure that if it's possible, we can map that field for you there. Bonnie's question is, how do we get advanced searches for agent-specific listings? That's a good one. So for that, what you can do is if we go to the advanced search option, let's say, for example, we wanted it to only pull in like a specific agent's listings. If we go to preferences, and if we go to edit, and under the search setup option, what we can do is we can go to the refinement search option. If we go down there, we can click on featured listings. That's basically going to pull in, anything that we've got in the, like MLS, the agent ID we have tied to the account, where whatever the agents are, the primary listing agent and whatever properties are active. So that's one way to have that set up. I know that if you wanted to set up specific like landing pages that only pull in specific agents listings, if you have an office level account, there should be like an agent page that's already set up, but you should be able to also create a saved link that will filter it down to only agent's particular fields too. Yeah, that's a good question. So saved link, it's kind of like their own bio page. So like with saved links, they're essentially a version of our results page. Let me just show you like what one of them will look like here. I forget that we're sharing the screen sometimes. I do a lot of this over the phone. So like if I pull this up, let's just go with the save link that we made today. So yeah, this is sort of like what a save link would look like. It would have, the results and then the map and then, the properties that are coming through down below. So if you have something like that set up where it's only pulling in like your agent's specific listings, it would, come through down here. I know that for IDX Broker, we do have the roster page that's already set up to pull in those listings. I don't think I have any agent profiles set up with the account though. So yeah, I would definitely recommend exploring that further. And if you have more questions about that, you can always reach out to us at support. I know that probably the best way to reach us is down here at the bottom where there's this green icon. That's our live chat function. And so if you needed to reach out to us and follow up on that, yeah, you can definitely do so. Yeah, with the roster page, it would have their, so to answer your question, Bonnie, it would put their name and contact information based on however it's set up in their agent profile. So if you have like a multi-office account, you can go in here and, your agent can modify this stuff, or you can also go in and change that contact information down there. So it would display on that page. You can also set up, we went over subheaders really briefly, but that's another good way to put content at the very top of any of your IDX Broker pages. So yeah, that's a good way to put any content at the very top there. So if you have the platinum level account, you can also set up subheaders at the saved link level. So if you've made a saved link and you wanted to assign a specific agent to it, you can put their contact info there. And I know this is probably going to be another webinar that we do later, but for saved links, you can also assign specific agents so that any leads that come in through that saved link are assigned to that agent. So the way that you'd set that up is if you go to design, save links, and then manage. So if we go into the settings under IDX test, I'll just use this one as an example, and then we edit the preferences. Yep, there we go. At the bottom of the preferences section, there's this option for agent assignment. So you can, if you have an agent profile set up on the account, you can choose that agent and then save the changes. And so anytime that, somebody signs up as a lead through that save link, it would automatically be assigned to that agent. So yeah, that's a really good way to kind of manage your leads effectively that way. All right, well, I hope this was informative. If you think of any more questions, please let me know. You can also reach out to us for specific questions going forward. But yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. That's a really good feature, Bonnie. You're making sure that you're filtering your leads to the right people. But you can ask us more questions going forward. Yeah, using the live chat function is probably the quickest way to get a hold of one of us. But you've also got our support line available. Let me just make sure I have that handy. Yeah, so our number is 800-421-9668. Yeah, so you've got that number you can call us at. If you need, our hours are, we're open Monday through Friday. We're not open on the weekends, but we're available from 6 o'clock in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, Pacific Standard Time. So that may change depending on your time zone. Oh yeah, Melissa. Yeah, it looks like Val already answered you. We'll record this video and then you'll be able to check it out later on YouTube as Val just typed in. But okay, yeah, and then that would be the number to call if you have more specific questions. But you can also email us at help@idxbroker.com if based on whatever way you would prefer. We'd be happy to help you out further. But yeah, again, this will be recorded later, and so you can check this out going forward if you needed to refresh on any of this stuff. But yeah, checking out our knowledge base is another good place to go too. But yeah, well, thank you all for watching. Just let us know if we have any more questions, and yeah, we'd be happy to help you out further. Yeah, if you have any more questions. Oh yeah, sorry, Karen, I just caught that. Oh, if it doesn't have a live chat function, you might have a developer partner on the account. That might be what's going on there. If you have a developer partner, that may be the reason why that logo is not showing up there. I think it only applies for retail clients that don't have that. Yeah, with GoDaddy. Yeah, so probably the best way to get a hold of us in that case would be just giving us a call or just sending an email our way in that case. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, yeah, if you have more questions going forward, just let us know. All right. Thank you for joining us today. All right, bye-bye.